Welcome to part 22 of our professional training course. Today, we're diving right into this explainer to master one of the absolute most common and, let's be honest, kind of misunderstood roadblocks in healthcare revenue cycle management. We're talking about the bundled denial. Specifically, we're focusing all our attention on Claim Adjustment Reason Code CO97, which covers mutually inclusive and bundled code denials. Look, if you spent literally any time working as an AR associate, you've definitely seen this denial pop up in your work queue. It can be super frustrating and it definitely halts cash flow, but here's the good news. Once you actually understand the logic behind it, resolving it becomes a totally straightforward, systematic process. Let's get into it.
So here is our syllabus for today's training module. We've got a great lineup. 1. An overview of bundled denials. 2. Core coding concepts. 3. Root cause analysis. 4. A resolution workflow decision tree. 5. An AR caller note template. And 6. A quick lesson knowledge check to wrap things up.
All right, Section 1, Overview of Bundled Denials, Decoding the CO97. Let's clearly define exactly what the payer is actually trying to tell us here. The official definition for CO97 states that the benefit for this service is included in the payment or allowance for another service or procedure that has already been adjudicated. So what does that actually mean for us? The crucial takeaway here is that with CO97, the payer isn't saying the service wasn't performed. Nope, they're just saying they already paid for it under a different umbrella. The payer's system essentially recognizes a relationship between two codes billed for the same patient. It assumes one procedure is inherently just a part of another, larger procedure. Because of that, they're denying the secondary charge to make sure they aren't paying you twice for the exact same overall service.
To put that into perspective, mutually inclusive procedures are basically like prepackaged items in a single box. You wouldn't charge a customer separately for the instruction manual or the charging cable when they already bought the whole box, right? Well, it's the exact same concept in medical billing. If a surgeon makes a standard incision or closes up a wound with sutures, you can't bill separately for those individual steps. They are simply already in the box. Moving right along to Section 2, Core Coding Concepts, Understanding the Relationship. To really resolve these denials, we have to start speaking the language of medical coders. In the billing world, we classify these related codes into two distinct categories, the comprehensive code and the component code. The comprehensive code is your main surgery or primary procedure. It's the big ticket item. On the flip side, the component code is the secondary step. It's the minor procedure or the included service that's just considered a built-in part of that main procedure. When a CO97 denial hits your desk, it is almost always the component code that's being denied, while that comprehensive code is the one that actually gets paid. But you might be wondering, how do payers actually know what goes in the box? Well, to determine if a component code truly belongs inside that comprehensive box, an AR associate has to check the National Correct Coding Initiative, or NCCI edits. Think of NCCI as the ultimate rulebook. It defines exactly which CPT and HCPCS codes can, or absolutely cannot, be billed together on the same date of service. It's used specifically to prevent improper payment for mutually inclusive procedures. Now, as an AR professional, you can check these rules directly via the official CMS website spreadsheets. Or honestly, even better, you can verify them using the integrated coder tools built right into your facility's billing system. Okay, Section 3, Root Cause Analysis. Why exactly do these denials trigger and hit your work queue in the first place? Let's break down the most common root causes for bundled denials. Usually these pop up because a modifier was missed, or a subsequent visit fell right inside the global waiting period of a major surgery. The absolute most common cause? Simply billing a component code directly alongside a comprehensive code without telling the payer's system why they should be separate. Sometimes procedures that are normally bundled are performed completely separately, like maybe on a different body part or during a totally different session on the same day. But here's the catch. If that claim is submitted without the appropriate NCCI modifier to separate the procedures, the payer's system is just going to automatically bundle them. Another major culprit is the global period. If a patient has a major surgery, they often have a 90-day global period where standard follow-up care is already included in that initial surgery payment. If they come in for a related checkup on, say, day 45, that procedure performed on a different date of service is likely going to bundle right into the main procedure's global period. And finally, sometimes the denied procedure code simply can't be done alone, period. It only exists as an add-on. All right, let's get into the fix. Section 4, Resolution Workflow Decision Tree, your step-by-step guide.
The standard workflow for a claim denied as a mutually inclusive procedure really boils down to a three-part philosophy: verify the code, check the edit, and route to the proper department. You literally never want to blindly call the payer without doing your own internal research first. So before you even think about picking up the phone, you've got to take three key investigative steps to understand exactly which codes are in conflict. Step 1, identify the denied component code on the EOB. Step 2, identify the primary comprehensive code in your billing system for that date of service or even surrounding dates. Step 3, check the NCCI edit spreadsheets for conflicts between those two specific codes. Once you check those NCCI edits, your path is going to branch into one of three distinct scenarios. Scenario 1, no coding conflict found. This means it's just a flat-out payer processing error. Your required AR action? Call the payer, point out that there's no NCCI conflict, and request immediate claim reprocessing. Easy enough. Now, Scenario 2, a conflict is found, but a modifier is allowed to bypass the bundle if medically justified. For this one, you route the account to your coding team for review so they can submit a corrected claim. Finally, Scenario 3, a conflict is found, and no modifier is allowed under any circumstances. It's a hard lock. In this situation, you have to escalate it to decide whether to push for a formal appeal with medical records proving exceptional medical necessity versus just taking a provider write-off.
Now for Section 5, AR Caller Note Template, Standardizing Documentation. Standardizing your notes is absolutely critical if you do end up needing to call the payer.
This is your standard AR caller note for a CO97. Ensuring every generic placeholder here is filled with exact data from the payer representative is exactly how you keep the revenue cycle moving efficiently. You want to record the date of service, the billed amount, claim dates, and exactly who you spoke with, like the specific payer rep name at the payer. Document exactly which component CPT was bundled into which comprehensive CPT, and note the verified global period. Finally, meticulously record the rep's instructions. You need the corrected claim payer address, the timely filing limit, your next action, like sending it to the coding team, and that all-important call reference number. Clean, clear documentation prevents so much duplicate work down the line.
Almost done. Section 6, listen, knowledge check. Test your skills. Let's see how well you retained this crucial workflow before we wrap up.
Okay, question 1. What does Claim Adjustment Reason Code CO97 specifically indicate? Think back to our definition earlier. What exactly is the payer trying to tell us here?
Moving on to question 2. In the context of NCCI edits, which code encompasses the other, the component code or the comprehensive code? Remember our pre-packaged box analogy when you're deciding which code is the real driver of the billing. And question 3. If you check the NCCI edits and find that a coding conflict exists but a modifier is allowed, what is your next immediate step? Refer back to Scenario 2 on our decision tree for this one.
All right, let's check that answer key. For number 1, the benefit for the service is included in the payment for another already adjudicated service. Number 2, the comprehensive code encompasses the component code. And number 3, you route the account to the coding team to verify and attach the proper modifier for a corrected claim. Mastering these 3 core principles is absolutely going to drastically reduce the time you spend wrestling with these inclusive denials.
To wrap up, keep this question in mind every single time you open an EOB. Is a bundled denial a true billing error or just a missing modifier waiting to be uncovered? Mastering that specific difference is exactly what separates an average biller from a true RCM expert. Share and subscribe for free courses on Decode Healthcare with Herschel.